morning, everyone. It's not Akram, Principal Statistician, Data Science Division. Good morning, all. My name is Mahawa Konde, Human Resources Manager, Statistics Area.
Good morning, everybody. The name is Joanna Vandi Sawa from the CTIS Division, Statistics Area.
Good morning, everyone. James Kamil Medo is my name, Head of Geographic Information Systems, Statistics Sierra Leone.
Good morning. I'm Mamadou Jebudu, Principal Statistician, CGIS Division, Statistics Sierra Leone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Zongo, Senior Admin Manager, Statistics Sierra Leone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosanna Osama, Secretary Statistics Sierra Leone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mohamed Esrojas, Population Development Unit, UNFPA.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aiman Nakavia, a communication consultant with UNFPA.
Good morning, Augustine Kande, Communications and PR Officer, Statistics Area.
So, I think we have introduced. Thank you. I think we have introduced everybody. I have the honor and pleasure to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, as we did the round of introductions, she walked in, the Honorable Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Madam Kenya Bali. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you very much. So these are the people we have. It was a good thing that we actually got to know who was actually here today, particularly for our visiting team. Okay. So we are starting in earnest, and we expect to also be joined by a couple of other ministers, whom we'll confirm as we get along. Some of the dignitaries are to join us, and we'll let you know as soon as we get along with that. Now, I hope everybody has an agenda. So we do have an agenda that we're going by. And on that agenda, we have some remarks, welcome remarks. Now, by the way, this is a mission that is coming from UNEC, which is the UN Economic Commission for Africa, US Census Bureau, and also the UNFPA in New York. So they are here, as you could see, from the mission to assess our preparedness for conducting the 2025 Senior Population and Housing Census. And principally, the objective is to identify the areas of support and collaboration for Sierra Leone. Okay, so that is the reason why they are here. And we do have to give the welcome remarks at this particular function. I am honored to call the Statistician General of Sierra Leone, Mr. Andrew Bonjoli, to come and make a statement. Can we give him a round of applause? He's worked all his life in statistics in 30 odd years. It's unbelievable.
A very good morning. The Honorable Minister of Planning and Economic Development, the UN Resident Coordinator, the UNFPA Country Representative, representation from USAID, members of the visiting assessment team from UNECA, the US Census Bureau, and UNFPA HQ, New York, other representatives from the Diplomatic Consular Corps here present, esteemed members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased and honored as the Statistician General of Sierra Leone to be accorded the opportunity to make a welcome address, assuring our international partners who are here to ensure we successfully conduct the 2025 Population and Housing Census. We the Honorable Minister of Planning and other ministers present, the Chairman of Statistics Sierra Leone, the mission team, and all other protocols observed. Efficient management of the economic and social affairs of the country rests on evidence-based decision-making. Generating relevant, accurate, and timely statistics is essential to that purpose. And producing detailed statistics for small areas and small population groups is its foundation. The role of the population and housing census is to collect, process, disseminate such small area detailed statistics on the population as and its composition, characteristics, the spatial distribution, and organization for both families and households. The absence of such reliable, internationally comparable data means government of Sierra Leone can miss out on understanding who is being left behind or can underestimate the scale of how many are being excluded. Population counts are also important to monitor development since they contribute to the denominators of various economic, social, and health indices. Such indices from previous population and housing censuses have contributed immensely in monitoring progress on critical indicators of global and national levels, such as the Sustainable Development Goals and the Medium-Term National Development Plan. Today, with the assistance of UNFPA, we have a high-level mission of the United States Census Bureau, Economic Commission for Africa, ECA, UNFPA HQ, with the objective of providing technical support to Southwest Health for a proper appropriation of the 2025 population and housing census. During this mission, a review will be done in respect of preparation of critical census components like the cartographic mapping, the pilot census, the logistics, the public sensitization, the data capture, transmission and security, to name a few. At the end of the mission, strengths and weaknesses will be identified for support by government and donor partners. This exercise is part of the planning process for the 2020 round census and highly recommended by the UN Statistics Division in response to a request from the UN Secretary General for a joint effort of the UN system and international and regional development organizations to enhance technical assistance to national statistical offices to strengthen capacities to implement the round censuses as a fundamental priority of achieving sustainable development goals. In my capacity as Chief Census Officer for the 2025 Population and Housing Census, I therefore warmly welcome this team of experts who are here to help us, and I wish them a pleasant week stay in the amazing environments of our beautiful capital city, Freetown. I also welcome everybody present here, including key government functionaries, development partners, the media, for sparing their time amidst very tight and competing schedules to be here. I thank you for your attention and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, the Statistician General of Sierra Leone, Mr. Andrew Bobjoli, for that welcome remarks. So we're still sticking with Statistics Sierra Leone, but before that, I want to introduce another dignity that we are expecting that just walked in. By the way, just for the sake of clarity, we have people here who are members of committees that were statutorily set up for the census. So for the conduct of the census in Sierra Leone, we have 3 major committees which were to be set up and have been set up, and we've even had the inaugural meetings. So we have the advisory committee, which is the policy committee, the high decision body. We have the technical committee, which is the technical committee, as the name indicates. Then we have the publicity and communications committee. Now, co-chairing the publicity and communications committee, we have and we are honored to have the minister, the current Minister of Information and Civic Education, as a co-chair of that committee. And he wants just in Azulia. You have to make a mistake. I have the honor and pleasure to introduce at this juncture Abdullahi Chainoba, the Minister of Information and Civic Education. Can we give him a round of applause? So we're walking through the program, and at this juncture, I want to call on to make statements and also about the welcome and talk about the whole stuff. Somebody who has been planning all of this week. She's been very much hands-on to ensure that we get this done. She's the Deputy Country Representative for the United Nations Fund for Population Affairs, Madam Sipeso Mololoma. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. Honorable Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Minister of Information and Civic Education, UN Resident Coordinator, members of the High Table, MC, please allow me to start with existing protocols. On behalf of the United Nations Population Fund, I join our colleagues at Statistics Sierra Leone in extending a warm welcome to you all to this opening session for the Technical Assessment Mission of the upcoming Population and Housing Census. This mission marks a crucial step in our collective journey towards ensuring a successful and impactful census that will provide accurate and reliable data to inform national development planning and decision making. As we all know, the census is a monumental undertaking that requires meticulous planning, coordination, and execution. And as already highlighted by the SG, it is an opportunity to count everyone in the country, capturing their demographic, social, and economic characteristics. This information is essential for understanding the needs of the population, identifying vulnerable groups, and designing effective policies and programs to address these needs. UNFPA, as the UN agency responsible for population and development, is committed to supporting the government of Sierra Leone in undertaking a comprehensive and inclusive census. We recognize the importance of this endeavor and are pleased to collaborate with national stakeholders and international partners to ensure its success. We're therefore very honored to have, over the last few months, collaborated with our sister agency, the UN Economic Commission for Africa and the United States Census Bureau, to plan and undertake this joint initiative, which has been done under the leadership and coordination of Statistics Sierra Leone and the overall guidance of the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, and is part of our ongoing support to the census process. As you've already heard, the mission brings together experts from the three institutions who, over the next few days, will advise on the current state of preparedness and capacity for the census and make recommendations for improvements. Their expertise and insights will be invaluable in strengthening the census process and ensuring that it meets international standards and best practices. We are confident that this mission will lay a strong foundation for a successful census that will generate accurate and reliable data to inform national development efforts. We therefore look forward to working closely with all of you in the next few days to achieve this shared goal, and we hope at the end of the mission, at the end of the week, to share some initial findings from the mission. In closing, allow me to express our sincere gratitude to the government of Sierra Leone for its leadership and commitment to this process, and we look forward to an insightful and productive week ahead. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Sipeso Mololoma, the Deputy Country Representative for UNFPA. So, I am going to call somebody who is serving currently as the chairman of the Statistics Council Board. The board is the council. He's a very young man. You will tell from his disposition as he comes. He previously worked at Statistics for 27 years, then retired, and was appointed by His Excellency the President to be the chairman of the council. He's always hands-on, boots on the field to ensure that we get things done. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to call on the very young Mr. Moses Williams. can we give him a round of applause to come and make a statement?
Thank you very much, listener. Good morning. I don't intend saying a lot of things here because whatever comes after this is very important. I just want to join the Secretary General and the lady from the UNFPA to welcome our colleagues from the UNECA and from the Bureau of Census to join us here this morning. The Council is the governing body of Statistics Sierra Leone. Our job is just to ensure that management does its work very well. Censuses have been an old, very old process in this country. In fact, I think it's our 60th or 7th attempt at it. So we are well grounded in it. But we cannot do it alone. We need external partners to come and help. Because things are not there. I mean, things are dynamic. They change. Every day, new concepts are coming in. We don't know what is in this 2020 round of censuses. So you are very welcome here. And we are quite sure that we're going to succeed this time around. We have succeeded all along. The first thing is, this is a digital census, the first ever in this country, and we hope to learn. We have started learning from the digital census. We hope to build on that for this next one. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moses Williams, for that remarks. So we want to move to some partners. We want to move to some partners, Google partners, to make some statements. And we're starting with the US Embassy. I, at this point, want to call on Mr. Paul McDonald from the US Embassy to make a remark. Can we give him a round of applause as he comes?
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. My name is Paul McDermott. I'm the USA Health Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Sierra Leone. And on behalf of the United States Embassy, I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to the government of Sierra Leone, and specifically to the Minister of Planning and Economic Development and the Director of Statistics Sierra Leone on the launch of this critical technical assessment mission. I would like to stand on the existing protocol, if I may, and say a little bit about the role that the USAID has played. USAID does not have the technical expertise that's needed for a national census, and we are lucky to have a relationship with the United States Census Bureau, and that helps us throughout the world to provide the technical assistance that is requested, and we always do it in very close collaboration, as Sylvester said, with UNFPA, UNECA. And the more we do this together, I think the better and faster these census processes go. The census here is a cornerstone, as has already been said, of good governance, offering vital data for evidence-based decision-making, equitable resource allocation, and sustainable development planning. So the accurate population data ensures that every voice is counted, every need is recognized, and every opportunity is maximized. The U.S. is proud to support this technical mission, which reflects our shared commitment with Sierra Leone to robust statistical systems and data-driven development. We commend the government for its dedication to transparency, inclusivity, and accountability throughout this process, and I was so happy to see so much of civil society represented in this meeting. Your openness to collaboration with international partners and with technical experts in the U.S., Census Bureau, the UNFPA, World Bank, underscores your commitment to ensuring the integrity and credibility of the upcoming census. As Sierra Leone embarks on this journey, the U.S. remains a steadfast partner. We encourage mobilization of both local and international resources to support the implementation of of a well-funded and technically sound census. This will lay the groundwork for enhanced governance, economic growth, and the realization of national development goals in line with global best practices. We look forward to the outcomes of the assessment mission and remain committed to supporting Sierra Leone's efforts to strengthen its national statistical system for the benefit of all its citizens. I would just point out before closing, and thanking you all for this technical launch of this submission, that it takes time. We first, I think, we're happy to receive the minister's visit in Washington, D.C. Last summer. That laid out the basis for the request for support. I think I was happy when the minister called us, UNFPA, World Bank, and many others together in October, where we were able to put some finishing touches on what's needed. And at that time, I committed our USAID team to mobilizing the resources and getting the approvals needed to provide the funding to the U.S. Census Bureau so they could come out with their team and be part of this. Just underlining again, this takes time. A census takes a lot of time, and I was happy to be part of the group in Nigeria in my last post. We worked together very closely with UNFPA, but unfortunately we were not able to mobilize the resources needed for the Nigerian census in time, and they were not successful in holding that census in 2023. I think we can learn lessons from all of these exercises, and I'm sure we will do that. Thank you again, and best wishes for a productive mission and successful national census process in Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul McDonald from the U.S. Embassy. Well, he says they were able to pull all of the resources together for the Nigerian census, but I can guarantee you that I'm pretty sure we'll be able to pull off all the resources. The government is actually committed and the partners are committed to ensure that we pull all the resources for the census in Sierra Leone. All right. A bit later on, we expect to have the World Bank country manager who will be making a statement. But at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to introduce the person representing the entire UN family in Sierra Leone. She's the UN resident coordinator. When I saw her name, I thought it was, from you remember the film in South Africa, right? When they had I thought it was Sarafina. And then they were telling me it was not Sarafina, it's Seraphine, or Seraphine, ladies and gentlemen, the UN country, the UN resident coordinator for Sierra Leone, Madam Seraphine Wakana, to come and speak.
Thank you, MC. You are not the only one to call me Serafina, so I'm happy to take it. Honorable Minister of Planning and Economic Development, the Honorable Minister of Information and Civic Education, and all senior government officials, development partners, the UN colleagues, members of the assessment mission team, all protocol duly observed. I'm really delighted to be here today as we embark on this critical assessment mission for Sierra Leone's upcoming population housing census. This endeavor marks a significant milestone in Sierra Leone's journey towards understanding the evolving needs and aspirations of the country's diverse population. Censuses are fundamental, as everybody has already said, to effective governance and sustainable development. They provide critical data that informs policy decisions, resource mobilization and allocation, public services. In Sierra Leone, this census will help all stakeholders to identify gaps and opportunities, enabling a targeted approach to to development that benefits all citizens. Therefore, the census will offer invaluable insights into the population size, distribution, and characteristics by providing comprehensive snapshots of country's population. And this information is essential in different ways. For effective governance, planning infrastructure, healthcare, education, social services, all rely heavily on understanding the population's needs and demographics. On economic development, census data informs investment strategies, identifies potential markets, and facilitates job creation. And on social progress, understanding the composition of the population enables targeted interventions to address inequalities and ensure that no one is left behind. And on behalf of the UN country team in Sierra Leone, I commend the government of Sierra Leone for its commitment to this important assessment. Your dedication to ensure an accurate and comprehensive census reflects a strong desire to promote transparency, accountability, and inclusive growth. And the United Nations stands in solidarity with Sierra Leone in this undertaking, as noted by the participation of 2 UN agencies, UNFPA and UNECA, in the assessment mission. This mission will play a crucial role in evaluating the preparedness and capacity to undertake the census and identifying areas where further support may be required to ensure a credible and inclusive census. As this assessment process starts, let us remember that collaboration is key. And the assessment is not just about identifying challenges, but about leveraging our collective strength and experiences. And together we can build a robust framework that ensures the success of the census. Your insights, expertise, and innovative ideas are invaluable and will shape the outcome of this process. And I therefore encourage all stakeholders to engage fully in this process, sharing insights, expertise, and innovative ideas, as your contributions will be invaluable as we work together to ensure that Sierra Leone's census is accurate and serves as a foundation for sustainable development to years to come. Allow me to conclude by reiterating again the United Nations system's commitment to supporting the government of Sierra Leone in undertaking a census that meets international standards. Let us move forward with optimism, determination, and a shared vision for a census that will provide a solid foundation for achieving the country's development aspirations as articulated in the medium-term national development plan. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Madam Serafina Wakana. She reiterated the UN's commitment to ensuring that Sierra Leone conducts its census that meets international standards, and we are happy that they are pulling through with us on that process. Next, we are to have a presentation before we go to some other statements. We have some other key statements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask members of the high table to switch. We have chairs that are hanging there. Augustine, can you help so that dignitaries can see? So we have a presentation. We're going to have a presentation from UNECA and the U.S. Census Bureau on the assessment mission. So everybody gets to go. All right, thank you very much. All right, so they sit there, and we're So I am going to first of all call on UNECA, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and William Muhava is coming. William is somebody that we've worked with. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much. You have to be here because you're live.
Okay, thank you. Let me start by the protocols. Our two honorable ministers present, I think it gives me, pleasure by just the first meeting where you have the president, the ministers present, is a very good sign. It's a very good sign in the sense that they are actually our advocates in terms of getting the census done. Once you have ministers present, they can take it to cabinet, they can take it to parliament. So thank you, the two honorable ministers who are present. Chairman of the Council of Stats SL, thank you. The Statistician General, Mr. Johnny, who I know so well, actually we were discussing during the Statistical Commission for Africa that we will actually be undertaking this mission, and we want this census to be a success. The representatives of our development partners, the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, US Embassy, and all the other development partners. My fellow assessment team, delegates, and all distinguished guests here, all protocols observed. I will start on a very positive note. And the positive note is, let me congratulate Sierra Leone for being, you will be the first country to do the 2030 round in Africa. So out of the 54, you will be our number one. So a lot lies on your hands, because whatever we learned in the 2020 round, and all the recommendations we came up with in the 2020 round, you are the first country to receive all those recommendations. And what we decided we are going to change in the 2030 round. You'll be followed by Lesotho, which will be either at the end of this year or early next year. So, for me, you are actually carrying the burden of Africa on your shoulders. Because if the first country fails, then we are going to actually experience some failures along the way. So I think let's start off with the success, and that burden lies on Sierra Leone. Then the second thing I want to emphasize from the beginning, these census preparedness assessments, they are actually a standard practice. In the 2020 round, we actually did 37 of them. So the 38th, which is this one, is in the 2030 round. So it's now standard practice. And to put it simply, what CPAs are all about is, at times, just the assurance. Coming into a country, have external assessors and say, you are doing things the right way. That in itself is very good, because you can proceed with confidence. And this is actually why we are here. Then, the other thing which I really want to emphasize is censuses are a collective effort. No one can do a census on their own. It's a collective effort which actually comes from government being the central, development partners, you can see there are a lot of development partners here. Private sector, I thought I had somebody introduce themselves as being from the private sector, academia from our universities, private sector, and the communities we serve. Because we are going to get this information from communities. So they should actually be convinced that we need to respond. So we need to build that confidence in the communities where we are going to get that information. So it is a collective effort. And I think every speaker here has talked about meeting international standards. Censuses are about international standards. And the assessment team here is meant to actually bring in international standards to the local situation. How do we apply all those international standards to the Sierra Leone situation so that they conduct the census which is credible, which is accurate, and which is timely? Next slide. Now go into my presentation. So, what is the census preparedness assessment necessary? Firstly, is to determine the status of preparedness for the 2025 population and housing census and establish major challenges or best practices. So it's both positive and negative. Whatever we find, whether all of them are positives or a combination of, it's a good outcome. And they give us key considerations as we proceed to the actual field work. Then secondly, identifying the preparedness gaps with a view to plan for intervention and mitigation measures. Then thirdly, and very importantly, risk assessment. Everything is a risk. Everything we do is a risk. Census is a risk. They actually have these risks which are expressed in terms of the likelihood and impact of the event, circumstance, or condition with the potential to positively and create an opportunity, or negatively becomes a threat to affect the achievements of the objectives of the census. Then lastly, how can stats leverage on lessons learned from the 2020 mid-term digital census and earlier censuses? So when planning for the census, we don't ignore what we have done so far. The 2021 mid-term census, the other census is 2015 and so on. Next slide, please. So what are the components of the assessment? I think the DG has mentioned some of them. The timeliness and the work plan. I'll come back to the work plan in a bit, because that's very critical in terms of deciding when we can actually do the actual census data collection and so on. Logistical arrangements. Logistical arrangements has to do with things like procurement of the tablets. And I saw it because in the last round I was involved in the purchasing of tablets from China. Then COVID. When COVID came, getting tablets out of China was actually very problematic. They would come, the Chinese get stuck in Addis Ababa, because the only airline which was flying in Africa was Ethiopian Airlines. So logistical issues became quite, an important factor. The issue of funding, I think it has been talked about, technological infrastructure, and I think we have all agreed this will be non-negotiable. We are going for a fully digital census from the start to the end. The legal frameworks, I think the proclamation has already been made about the census, and we actually need to work within that and see if we can fulfill that. Then the human resources are also ahead. there's a census office, GG, right? And that census office actually carries the burden or the responsibility to actually undertake the census from beginning to end until the results are actually disseminated and so forth. Then stakeholder engagement, as I say, the census involves a lot of stakeholders, up to the communities where we get the information from. And if we want cooperation from those who supply the information, they should be convinced that we are actually doing the right thing. Next slide. So, during the next couple of days, we are going to be collecting information individually and in groups, surveys, interviews, so that at least we get an understanding of the preparedness. We are also going to, one of our colleagues, we have a GIS person, we also have an IT person who is actually coming this afternoon, who will work with our IT directors to look at IT infrastructure and so forth. Then, how are you going to do the copy and so forth? We are also going to look at the document. And let me just take a few seconds here. One of the things we have discovered in the 2020 round was when countries went digital, they totally ignored doing project documents. And it became a bit of a disaster because no matter it's a digital or manual census, you still need your census project document. We have simplified things for you, as I will actually show you how we now can generate a very simple project document electronically. Next slide. So, one of the things which we need to look at is during this week, also for the consideration, especially of everybody here, is our work plan. How have we actually planned for doing the census? So you can actually see at the extreme right, we have the duration or the timing of when certain things have to be done. So we are going to go through this with SL and make decisions. Did we actually do the strategic objective setting, the census strategic documents, capacity assessment? Was there any capacity assessment of SL to handle this, which should have been done 4 years ago, or at least a few years ago? So we have all these durations. I have just put this as an example, but we have a Gantt chart which we will go through in very much detail so that we know we are not skipping any of this. And one thing about the census is all the processes are actually interlinked. You miss one or you don't do one properly, it affects the next stage. And we don't want that to happen. So we should actually make sure we go through all these steps and see that they will be adequately addressed. Next slide. I've also put an example for GIS. Most of the GIS activities should have been completed in the last 3, 2 or so years and last year. But we will see when we go through that assessment. Next slide. So, here is the technical assistance ECA can provide from the beginning to the end of the census. From the project management, preparing your devices,